Arknights China's 3rd anniversary stream happened, and man, was it a blast. It was so fun to watch live with everyone. There were so many announcements, and I'm going to do my best to summarize it here as succinctly as possible. Because there were so many announcements, it might take a little longer than I anticipate. So, of course, we're going to start with the limited event for China's 3rd year anniversary. Now, keep in mind, this will not be our 3rd year anniversary event because we are slightly out of sync with them. Our 3rd anniversary will be the event after this one, the equivalent of the Solace Holiday. This is the equivalent of Undertides. So this will be 3 months before our anniversary. And so some of the things I'll be announcing here, particularly some of the rewards, will actually appear 3 months later for us. The event is called Stultifera Navis, and it's sort of a sequel to Undertides. So it features many characters returning, including Irene and the Abyssal Hunters. The new limited operator, which is obviously what people are most anticipating, most excited for, was indeed Specter the Unchained, as the data mine had hinted at. Specter the Unchained is a doll keeper. At its core, she is a merging of classic Specter with a little bit of Skadi the Corrupting Heart. For those who don't know, doll keeper archetype, when they die, instead of dying, they get replaced by a substitute that stays out on the field for a certain amount of time, doing some sort of effect. And then after that time, the original comes back. If the substitute doesn't die, then the operator is essentially immortal. Her first passive is that when the substitute is out on the field, it reduces enemy movement speed and deals arts damage every second. Her second passive increases the max HP of all Abyssal Hunters. We believe it's about 20% increase, which is significant. Her first skill immediately swaps her HP with another ally's HP. This is by percent. First immediate thought that comes to mind is swapping with Surta, because obviously Surta's got a huge amount of HP and you can keep her going. Skill 2 increases attack and attack speed. For the duration of the skill, she's immortal. So this is similar to old Spectre skill 2. However, the main difference is that when it ends, instead of the stun, she gets KO'd and replaced by the substitute. Spectre's immortality is still there, and combined with the Dollkeeper archetype, she's even more immortal than before. Skill 3 reduces her attack speed, but she becomes an AoE guard, attacking all enemies equal to her block count. Her attack goes up by 260%, and HP goes up by 200% extra. And whenever she attacks an enemy that's got more HP percent than her, she hits twice on every attack. And if she has more HP than them, then she loses HP on every attack, essentially keeping her below the enemy at all times. On stream, we saw her have almost 9,000 HP and a little over 2,900 attack. That's pretty insane. It was huge. She did a lot of damage. What are my thoughts on Specter the Unchained? My initial thought was it wasn't that exciting for Spectre specifically to get an altar. I mean, I would have thought lots of other characters could do it, but since they're keeping the Undertides theme, she's probably the best fit. Although I'm surprised they didn't tap into someone like Andriana first, considering she got completely forgotten last Abyssal Hunter event, and it looks like it's happened again. Rest in peace, Andriana. On the other hand, their execution of Specter the Unchained, I think, is fantastic. It's really on theme, it's a great design, I love the look of the character, her live 2D is absolutely gorgeous, love the sharks, the water, the flow of her hair, truly phenomenal look. The abilities are interesting, I like how it still feels like Spectre. Yeah, I don't really have any complaints in that sense. Now, as for her final power level, we'll have to wait until we use her in the field, because all characters look great in demo form. I have to wait and see. The standard operator on the banner alongside Spectre is Irene. You may remember Irene from Undertides. She was the Inquisitor with the tic-tac-toe meme on her forehead. You'll notice this time she's grown her hair out to cover up her forehead. Irene is of the Swordsmaster type, same class as Chen and Bybeak. Her first passive is when she attacks, she has a chance to ignore enemy defense. If it's an aerial unit, she has a much higher chance to ignore enemy defense. Second passive increases her attack speed. If there are sea monsters on the field, then she gets even more attack speed. Sea monsters are the enemies from Undertides and Navis. Her first skill hits the enemy, levitates them for a bit, and then hits them again. Very simple skill, nothing too exciting. Skill 2 does similar, but in a much wider area. The attack range is the same as Bybeak's skill 2, and this also holds charges. Very reminiscent of Bybeak's skill, but levitate instead of stun. Levitation is like a stun, except the enemies while levitated count as aerial enemies, so your allies that can't hit the air will not be able to hit these levitated enemies. However, anti-air abilities are obviously very effective against them. And then her skill 3, which is definitely the most exciting one, and by far the coolest. She levitates all enemies around her, jumps up in the air with them, goes full Dante from Devil May Cry, doing 1,000 slashes in 1 second, hitting everyone, and then slams them all back down to the ground. Awesome looking ability. Initial impressions show that she's good against lower armored enemy, and specifically light enemies, because the levitation is based on the enemy weight. My primary concern is when she goes up against an enemy who's a little too heavy and got a little too much armor for her to deal with, and then she just gets completely neutered. We'll have to wait and see. It's largely dependent on her numbers. Do very much like the look of her abilities though. Next we have Lumen, the 6-star welfare operator. Yes, another free 6-star for the anniversary. And this guy is probably the most game-changing character of the event. Lumen is a wide-range medic, same class as Ceylon and Whisperrain. His first passive is that when he heals a target, they gain resist. If the target's HP is higher than a certain percent, the resist lasts longer. Second passive, if an ally within his attack range gets afflicted by a status element, so that's any kind of CC or debuff, he immediately heals them for a certain amount of HP. This ability does have an internal cooldown. Now this is just a passive, and it's like Warfarin's skill 1. That is incredible. That's like having a second skill. Of course, the cooldown will play a big factor in how strong this is, and obviously the strength of the heal. If it's a 60-second internal cooldown and it heals for nothing, then who cares? But if it's a 10-second internal cooldown and heals for a decent amount, that could be very strong. Skill 1 heals the target and then applies an aura that heals nearby allies. Not that interesting. It's similar to Breeze's skill. Much more interesting is his skill 2, which immediately heals several allies within his range, and if you overcharge the skill, it will also remove all abnormal status elements. So that's all stuns, all debuffs gone. This guy can outright heal stuns. That is amazing. And remember, amongst those debuffs includes things like Tallulah's Fire. He can outright heal Tallulah's Fire. That's incredible. Skill 3 increases his attack and attack range. He will prioritize healing units that are under an affliction. It's an ammo skill, and the ammo is only consumed whenever he heals someone under an affliction. And if the target is under an affliction, he heals them for more and removes the affliction. It is so good. And the fact they gave away this guy for free. And the 5-star of the banner, called Windflit, he's a supporter in the same Artificer class as Roberta. They didn't show off his kit, so we don't actually know what he does. My hope is that he's an offensive version of Roberta. Generally, the limited banner 5-stars are pretty good. I've got high hopes for this guy. Also, they confirmed that Skadi the Corrupting Heart, along with W and Rosmontis, will be available on this banner. Roughly a 4% chance on a 6-star pull to get either of them. Now, for the event itself, a bunch of new enemies, some enemies that can evolve. The core new mechanic of the event is similar to Zerg Creep, where this corruption spreads across the map from one tile to the next. Allies that are on these tiles take constant elemental damage. You can slow the spread of the corruption by deploying operators ahead of time. The event also has the usual stuff from a limited event. New furniture set themed on Aegir, the location that we're going to. There's the Arundum Mining, a new login event, which has a free skin for Frostleaf, as well as a gacha spin wheel, except the result is all on every outcome. This is playing off of a meme from Lowlight a few streams ago, where he would spin the wheel and then he'd intentionally stop it on all so that the viewers would get all the rewards. There'll also be a new Annihilation on the way, tons of celebration rewards. So in the end, speaking of the gacha wheel, he created this mystery box out of Lego where he put in these cards and he would draw a card, and whatever he drew, he would give out those rewards. Because he was streaming from home, there was no one there to stop him from rigging the system. Now, we don't know if he rigged it. He'll deny that he rigged it, but he pulled all, and then all times 2, which means in the end, 4 times of every reward. When our anniversary comes around, you can expect to get 2400 Arundum, a stack of XP, stack of LMD, 800 red certificates, 4 of each top tier material, 4 chip catalysts, and a bunch of furniture parts. Lowlight, you gotta love the guy. You can really tell that he's really passionate about the game, and he loves the fans and the community. It was great to see him. And he was not at all deterred by the fact that they had to do everything remotely, like from home, because Shanghai, where Hypergriff is located, is in a harsh lockdown due to a severe round of COVID. it didn't deter them at all. So other things coming with this event, there's another free 5-star selector ticket as before. This one adds a whole bunch of new 5 stars all the way up to Toddy fonts from the passenger banner. And that means Elysium will be available for this ticket. The double OP reset, as is the case with all anniversaries. There's also the anniversary packs, including the Elite 2 promo for a 5-star and the 6-star selector ticket. Keep in mind this is paid for. The 6-star selector ticket will go up to Fartooth this time. So that means it'll include Calcet, as expected. We are getting a 6-star selector ticket on Neolight. If you intend to buy it or you're thinking about buying it, I have an excellent video linked down below where I go over every operator that's available and give you an idea of the best picks. It's about more than just going for the most powerful, because you do want to take into account the availability and the schedule for these operators. And of course, I'll be doing another one in 6 months' time. I'm not a big spender in Arknights, but quite interesting to me is they've got these 2 very little packs, which I think are $2 or $3 each. Each pack includes the regular and elite chips for either a specialist or a guard, and all the LMD required to promote from E0 to E1 and E1 to E2. Now it's just the resources to do the promos, not to do the leveling in between. For that price, extremely good value. And of course, they've chosen the 2 classes that are on the banner itself. If you're someone who wants to spend a tiny amount of money, I highly recommend those. They had these previously in the Rainbow Six event, and these were excellent value. Of course, there's the usual free Savage. There were other big announcements effective with the start of the Navis event. Potions are getting upgraded. So small potions that used to give 60 sanity now give 80, and ones that give 100 now give 120. Keep in mind, this does mean that the monthly card and the free daily sanity potion is now worth more. Excellent change. That, coupled with the increasing amount of sanity-free content, it's really encouraging players to play more. Along the same lines, daily and weekly missions will have increased rewards of LMD and XP. And speaking of those missions, there's a new item being added to them, the Annihilation Skip Ticket. You will have the ability to instantly clear an Annihilation. What I love most about this is the ability to ignore unstable order battles. Some Annihilations are just really unreliable in the timing of certain things. They just screw up too often. The time it takes to do 5 clears a week, I don't really care. What annoys me is when it just doesn't work correctly. They're also adding level 6 stages for XP and LMD, but we'll have to wait and see just how much of a difference they make, just how much better they are. If it's a tiny increment, then it's not going to make much of a difference, but hopefully it's something good. Also coming with the anniversary event is 3 new backgrounds for the home screen. Now this feature is not in global just yet. We're getting it in a few days with Neolight. If you want to see that feature and every feature coming up for the next 6 months, I've got a link down below for a video on that. The 3 new backgrounds, this is the first time we're getting any new backgrounds added to the game since implementation, as far as I can remember. The 3 new backgrounds are a New Year's celebration, a winter mountain themed background, and a Undertide/Navis themed background. I love the look of these backgrounds. The music in Arknights is always fantastic, and I love this feature. So I'm very much looking forward to this, even though it's just a small thing. Alright, let's talk skins. The main skins for the event itself are for Skadi the Corrupting Heart, Gnosis, and Aurora. Skadi the Corrupting Heart gets her first skin, of course, her being a limited operator. It's a live 2D skin, meaning it costs 21 OP. It's an absolutely beautiful skin. Although when they were first showing it off, me and many of my viewers thought it was an Unchained Specter skin, because the two do look quite similar. I in particular love the way the Seaborn snakes into the background. For Gnosis, oh man, what a cool skin. Very Dracula themed. Immediately makes me think of Dracula. The only thing that doesn't make this an instant buy for me is the fact that default Gnosis already looks so awesome. So that's the challenge. I'll have to wait and see the animations first. And then there's Aurora, getting a Arctic exploration theme that immediately makes me think of the Lego Arctic sets because it uses the exact same color palette. Not that that's a bad thing. And then there's Frostleaf getting a free skin. And then there's Lancet with an aquatic themed skin, also free. 2 free skins in the one event. Then they showed off some skins for further down the line for Ambience Synesthesia. This is the music event that they do. The previous set of skins was Blaze, Courier, and Vigna. Those skins are rerunning as well. This time they showed off Mudrock, Tequila, and Reed. They look fantastic. So much drip, super fly, love the style. The trailer was great. Interestingly, Phantom is both in the key art and featured quite prominently in the trailer, yet it doesn't seem like he's getting a skin. Shortly before this, we just got the free Phantom Live 2D skin, so he didn't need another skin. But it's strange that they feature him so prominently, very unusual. But yes, these skins look great. Mudrock's black dress is very much in theme with her summer skin, and Reed finally getting a skin. Thought that operator didn't exist anymore. And Tequila's already getting his first skin, and he looks great. Then there's an update for W's skin. W's skin was the last of the limited operators to get Live 2D, excluding Ash, of course. Ash probably won't get Live 2D unless there's a rerun of the Rainbow Six event. My fingers are still crossed. I'm still huffing that hopium that one day we get the Rainbow Six rerun. W's Live 2D skin is special because it's also getting new voice lines added. And that means there's an increased price tag attached to it. So it's 24 OP. Your standard Live 2D skin is 21. But when you have the custom voice work as well, 24 OP. Us global players are lucky because during Near Light, this skin does rerun. And when it reruns in Near Light, you can get it for 18 OP. When it gets improved with the Live 2D, no extra cost to you. So if you like this skin, I highly recommend grabbing it during Near Light. They also confirmed reruns for a bunch of old skins, Bloodline of Combat stuff for Mountain, Iascarp, Flint, and Unectes. Unectes the Forge Master skin, very popular one. And also some Chinese New Year skins for Chen, Liscam, and Swire. Oh, I forgot to mention the modules. They confirmed new modules for Doll Keepers, the Wide Range Medics, and the Duelist Defenders. We don't exactly know the effects of their modules, but this is the first time we've had 3 different archetypes getting their modules at once. So hopefully this is a sign of an accelerated schedule for the module releases, because I don't think it should take so long for everybody to get their modules. Of course, Irene will be getting her module right away. So there's a new module system where you can upgrade existing modules. Now they only showed off Magellan and Passenger. Magellan's module increases the stealth duration of her drones on deployment, and if you put a drone next to Magellan, she also gets stealth. And the more you upgrade the module, the longer the stealth lasts. Passenger's is much more interesting because Passenger has branching upgrade paths. You can go up the module X chain, which is the same as his current module. When you upgrade his module, if there are no enemies in the tiles next to him, it increases his attack and SP recovery. You can upgrade it further for even more SP recovery. Now, depending on how much SP recovery that is, it could be amazing, because the one thing really holding Passenger back is the SP cost of his abilities. His other module, the Chain Y module, completely changes it. Instead, it's more focused on damage. So now the base effect is that there's no penalty on bounce for his chain lightning. Also, if he hits an enemy above a certain HP percent, he will then do more damage to that target for several seconds. Then you can upgrade the module to increase that effect. Now, how do you upgrade these modules? Well, it all comes from a new game mode. This new game mode seems like another roguelike, but very different from integrated strategies. Instead, this seems to be drawing on card games. In this mode, you have a deck of operators, and you draw operators and you deploy them. And then you can deploy another operator on top of an already existing operator, replacing them, but getting a buff. So for instance, and I'm just going to make up these numbers here, say you deployed Chen first, and then on top of Chen, you deployed Mudrock. And Mudrock got plus 20% attack, because that's the fusion buff, so to speak, that Chen gives to other operators. Looks really interesting. They didn't go into that much detail of how it looks and exactly how it plays. From what I could tell, it looked very much like just a developer sandbox. They have said that there will be 8 levels to go through with a boss at the end in a run, and the mode is permanent. It's most likely going to cost no sanity. If it's even half or a quarter as generous as integrated strategies 2, this will be amazing. As for future events after this limited one, they confirmed Contingency Contract 9, which will be featuring a welfare operator for the first time in a while. More interestingly is the Joint Operations banner alongside the Contingency Contract. This banner features Calcit and Mountain, as I called on a stream a while back, as well as Exia, and unfortunately it also features regular Skadi. So you've got 3 S+ tier units and possibly the worst 6-star in the game, which is slightly unfortunate. However, this is an excellent banner. Now, you shouldn't delay getting these operators in the meantime if you do have the opportunity, because this is a long way off. But if by then you're still missing 2 or 3 of these operators, this is an amazing banner, especially for newer players. They also teased the next update to integrated strategies. So they've said in the past what will happen is every 6 months, there'll be a new theme to integrated strategies. And the teaser seems to imply it's going to be focused on Mizuki and most likely Undertides themed, which is awesome because I love Undertides. I love the whole theme of it. I'm very much looking forward to this. I'm not a big fan of Mizuki myself, but If it's Undertide's theme, I won't complain. If it's similar to Phantom's integrated strategies, then Mizuki might get his own live 2D skin for free. They also teased future story events. So there was one on Leithania, focused on this crazy Witch King. Rather than just giving us a few teaser images, they gave us this awesome stylized story cutscene. I honestly expected nothing more than just teaser images for anything after the actual limited event. A slide saying, in a month there's this event, and then after that there's this event, after that's this event, and that's it. You know, they were just going to tease us what's coming up, not give us any info. But they gave us this lengthy story cutscene for the Leithania event, and they gave us a great video for the upcoming Rhine Lab event centered on Saria, Ifrit's backstory, Telopsis, Silence, all that. Looks really cool. The only thing that they teased in terms of events was what's most likely the limited event after this. So 3 months after this event, the equivalent of what is likely to be our anniversary as the summer event, replacing De Solis Holiday. And this one is based in Durin's homeland. So it's going to be focused on, most likely on units like Durin and Myrtle. All we have here is a teaser image with a few silhouettes. Perhaps these are the new operators that'll be on the banner. Perhaps one of these is a limited alter of an existing operator. Are we going to get limited Myrtle at some point? Who knows? But there's so much to look forward to for this game. There's so much to look forward to. Outside of the game, they showed off quite a few things. So there was another small trailer for the Arknights anime. And no new info on the anime, apart from just another confirmation that they're still working on it. There was a ton of merchandise, some little figurines for Castle and Lancet, as well as the Rhodes Island landship. Then there was a Nendroid confirmed for regular Skadi. They showed off a prototype for Chen's high-quality figure. You know, there's really expensive ones. They also showed off the next batch of operator recruitment bags, where you've got a chibi of an operator popping out of a recruitment bag. Those are mega cute. They also showed off prototypes for chibi figures of the 3 6-stars from the Navis event. But my favorite merchandise of all that they showed was this glass paperweight of an Originite Prime. If postage wasn't a arm and a leg to Australia, I would absolutely get this. And of course, as with every anniversary for every gacha game ever, there's a ton of real world stuff as well. Now, none of this is actually relevant to us as global players, but just so you know, there's a reunion themed cafe. There's also going to be a pop-up store, one offline, like a physical store, and another pop-up store online. There's also a collab with an ice cream company featuring several chibi characters. You may notice there's a lack of a particular ice cream loving operator. It doesn't make sense to have an ice cream collab and to not have Serta there. That said, these are adorable. There was also a collab with China Post where you can get a letter writing kit themed after Arknights. And in expanded media, they showed us a little bit about the manga focused on the 3-star operators. Then they announced a slice of life manga all about cooking at Rhodes Island, and it looks like it's going to feature Nerl the Radiant Knight, so I'm very excited for that. And they showed off a little bit about a manga related to the Rhine Lab event. And they said it will come out at the same time as the event. I love that. I hope this is a sign of things to come, because in League of Legends, even long after I stopped playing League of Legends, I would still read the multimedia material that they would release associated with events and new characters. It would often be in a comic book or a short story form. And so I hope that Arknights does the same thing. We already get music associated with all the characters, all the events. If they can expand that to doing more manga type content, that would be fantastic. I would love to have that. And the very final thing that they teased, the last frame of the live stream, and this came out of nowhere, we didn't see this coming, is a collaboration between Arknights and Capcom. They gave no details about this, so we don't even know which Capcom games are part of the collab. Is it going to be like Rainbow Six, where it's a limited event with a set of operators in their own story and a banner associated with them? Is it perhaps several different franchises that are getting like one character each? Maybe it's, 3 different franchises, one character from each franchise on the banner. Who knows? We've got no details. Just to give you a reminder of what kind of properties Capcom owns. So they've got Devil May Cry, Street Fighter, Monster Hunter, Mega Man, Ace Attorney. They've got several big franchises, and really it could be any one of them. Monster Hunter has done several collabs in the past, and some of them fairly recently. So they did a collab with Final Fantasy XIV, where you got to fight some of the Monster Hunter bosses. Smash Brothers, you can summon one of the big monsters to fight alongside you. I'll probably do a whole separate video on the speculation and what a collab like this could look like, specifically what the operators could look like. And so that's everything. That's the entire live stream. Oh, no, it's not everything. I forgot. There was also a little animation. Actually, two animations. I forgot. There was two animations. First, Lee's Detective Agency, featuring, you know, Ark, Hung, all those characters. They're going to do a series of animated shorts for them. There was also another mini animation about delivering invitations to everyone, inviting them to the after party for the anniversary live stream. That after party lasted about 2 hours, and there was a whole ton of fan-made content. And good lord, was it high quality. Some of the stuff these fans make is just ridiculous. There was a group that made an actual Justice Knight. They made a proper functioning Justice Knight robot. It was so cool. There was also a whole ton of little animations, hand-drawn, CG, manga style. There was one that blended art with real worlds. There was tragedy, there was humor, heartfelt content. It was so good. Such talented people. Now, I can't show you much of that because pretty much every song used would be copyright claimed immediately by YouTube. And even if I could, I would not want to deprive the artists, so do go to Bilibili and do check it out. For real this time. That was everything we saw last night. It was phenomenal. Overall, this stream, when we compare the CN stream to the JP stream from a few days ago, it's just incomparable. I know it's not the same thing, right? And there's not the same level of announcements for an anniversary stream as there is for a quarter anniversary, so to speak. But the level of energy, the level of enthusiasm, the level of focus and structure, the way the content is presented on CN is just so much better. The Japanese stream didn't even play the damn CGs and the trailers and such. Instead, we had to watch Wildmane auto-attack slugs for 5 minutes. Enough negativity about the JP streams. I want to talk positivity about the CN stream. Everyone at Hypergriff, those who helped organize the stream, the fans that made the fan content, everyone deserves all the praise. They did such a good job, especially considering the tough time that they're going through in Shanghai at the moment. It's great to see that they weren't deterred at all by the situation. Seeing all this new content that's upcoming and all the improvements to the game have made me feel even more confident in committing my time to Arknights. I love Lowlight. I love everyone that works on this game. They just do such a good job. I love the community. I love the viewers. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me live on the stream. God, that was a blast. It was so much fun. I'll definitely be doing it for every single stream. Not just for Arknights, we'll do some other stuff as well. If you don't want to miss out on that, do join at twitch.tv/drvolk. I'll also be streaming Neolite, including viewer pools. I'll start as soon as the event opens, in the middle of the night for me. And then we'll do the Neolite new account challenge, where I'll beat the entire event with a brand new account before the event ends. Before I go, I absolutely must give a huge shout out and a big thank you to those in chat that helped translate the stream. Several viewers helped translate, and I'm so grateful for their help. It's very much appreciated. Thank you so much. Alright, that's it. This video is, at this point, is going to be nearly as long as the stream itself if I don't end it. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.